What's up, Colts fans? I'm JJ Stankevitz, and this is another episode of the Colts Show, an Indianapolis Colts podcast. We are presented by Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PC. Good episode coming up today. I had a chance to sit down with Colts wide receiver Laquon Treadwell, who I described to him as your favorite Colts receiver's favorite Colts receiver, if that makes sense. This dude is like universally beloved in that receiver room, across the Colts locker room. Really interesting story. A guy who you might remember as a first-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings from 2016. He's had a lot go on in his career since that moment. He's been cut. He's been to a bunch of different cities, but he has found a home here in Indianapolis and a role on this Colts team. Really good chat there. Before I get into that, though, we got to talk about Week 13. A quick little, a couple of thoughts here. Obviously, we've got a lot of other stuff here on our feed talking about the game. An instant reaction on Colts Roundtable Live on audio, and then Jack Doyle will have his thoughts on the game coming up on Thursday on the Jack Doyle podcast. But a game where I think blaming the referees doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I get it. Like, referees played a part, and officiating decisions played a part in the game for the Colts. But I'm never someone who has ever really wanted to lean on it's the officials' fault that a game is decided, because there are 50, 60 other plays during a game that can swing it. And for the Colts, this was a game against a Houston defense that probably required close to near perfect execution on offense in this game. And the Colts didn't get that. They had a couple of drops. They had a couple of fumbles that, whether they were recovered or not, did torpedo some drives. They had some TFLs that torpedoed drives. I thought Daniel Jones played a pretty good game, all things considered, but just not enough consistent execution on offense. And I'm going to get into a little more of that on the Colts Show Mailbag coming up after my conversation with Laquon. But look, this season doesn't come down to Week 14 in Jacksonville, but it pretty much feels like it does. For the Colts, for the majority of this season, have been sitting atop the AFC South thinking, how are we going to go win this division? How can we clinch this division? Well, now the Jaguars, technically, by a tiebreaker, do have the lead in the AFC South. These are two 8-4 teams that are going to take the field on Sunday at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville. And a Colts win bumps their odds of making the playoffs, per the New York Times, to 85%. A loss, it drops to 51%. So just like this Texans game in Week 13 was a pretty big swing where the Colts came in at 80-something%, and with a win they would have bumped over 90. A loss dropped them down into the upper 60s. This game is even bigger odds now. The Colts come in at 68% to make the playoffs. We're talking about like a 17% swing on this game. Again, that is massive at this point in the calendar. So the Colts have a lot they got to figure out. They got to figure out on defense how to operate, potentially without Sauce Gardner, for however long he may or may not be out. I'm taping this Monday morning. Don't have a whole lot of details on that right now, with Sauce having what appears to be, according to him on Sunday, a calf strain. They're going to have to figure out how to operate offensively and get out of this sort of rut that they've caught themselves in over the last couple of weeks. And the answer to that, by the way, which I'm going to get into in the mailbag, is not necessarily running the ball more. I'm going to get into that when we get into it. I mean, maybe there's some opportunities in there, certainly, but there's one thing that I was looking at that I'm really intrigued at. And it's going to just take execution. I know it's a pretty simple answer, but the Colts, for the first 10 weeks of this season, executed at such a high level, especially on offense, and they've had some miscues on offense that have led to teams like the Texans coming in and winning and then losing that lead to the Chiefs in Kansas City. So really interesting stuff there, but really excited to share this conversation with Laquon Treadwell, because he is a guy who I had never really talked to him before this conversation. I had been aware of him for a really long time, being in Chicago when he was coming up through Crete Monet there as a 5-star recruit who went to Ole Miss. He was like a state player of the year. Awesome dude, awesome conversation. And again, a guy who is universally really, really beloved within that Colts locker room. So let's get to it right now here on the Colts Show right after this. The Colts Show is presented by Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PC, where every day is game day. Greatness in the NFL starts long before kickoff. It's built in the quiet hours of preparation and the discipline to turn insights into action. The Indianapolis Colts rely on Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PCs to turn preparation into performance. With real-time AI-powered insights right on the sideline, coaches and players can make smarter, faster decisions when it matters most. From the field to the front office, Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PCs are transforming how the Indianapolis Colts prepare, strategize, and win. This isn't just about football. It's about unlocking potential wherever the game is played. It is my pleasure to be joined here on the Colts Show by wide receiver Laquon Treadwell. Laquon, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Excited to be here. Thank you.
Excited to do this. I was talking to you on the walk over about how, we're both Chicago suburban guys, and when I had Alec on the pod, I tried to keep the Chicago suburban talk to a minimum. But sometimes the accent comes out on occasion.
I mean, it's good. It's good.
What has this season been like for you? Getting an opportunity to get back on the 53, making plays on special teams. We're taping this before the Texans game. We'll see, with Ashton being out, potentially more of an opportunity on offense. But just for you to be able to go through the season, be part of a successful team this year, what's it been like for you?
It's truly been a blessing. Being here last year and leading up to the moment right now, I'm getting the opportunity to play, being on the 53, like you said. It's been truly a blessing. My family's been blessed by the city, with like we were talking about, the Oswells and all these different things that my family is involved with. We were really surprised. Last year we kind of got here during training camp, and then this year we got here a little earlier, so we were able to prep and get to know the city, get to know the people of the city, and it's been truly amazing. My son is in a great school, Traders Point. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better city and just a moment at this point in my career, just, with the family aspect of the team and, just how we've been treated since we've been here.
So you've been around to, you're in Minnesota, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Arizona, New England, Seattle, Baltimore, Indy. I got it? Yeah. What do you like about Indy? Maybe not necessarily compared to those other cities, but just, being here now for a little over, year and a half.
I guess I would rephrase it. What was not to like? And it was, like I said, it was a shocking effect for us, being from Chicago, not being up here a lot. I would go to the Buffalo Wild Wings, I think in Schererville when I was a kid.
You crossed the border to the region?
Yeah, and come right back. I think it was like 50-cent wings or something like that. So me and all our friends in high school, we would take a drive with one of our parents' car and we load up and get some wings. But honestly, just everything. I mean, from, like I said, the schoolings for my son, my daughter, my wife, she's found a good community with the gyms and training, and just for me, being around the guys on the team, we got a good group of guys here. Like you said, I've been on a lot of teams, and by far I think this is one of the better teams I've been on, just as far as people, character, having a vision, and staying consistent to it. So with that, it was easy to want to come back, want to be a part of it. And, from last year to this year, now seeing the winning side of it and helping being a part of that, making plays on special teams, like you said, I'm just truly grateful. I've been in the league a long time. I've seen a lot, been through a lot, highs and lows. And so I just try my best to always pull from that, whether I see a teammate going through something mentally, battling something, I try to pull from what I've been through and try to pour into those guys and make sure, I always come in with a good perspective, because I know once it gets rolling in the opposite way, it's hard to come out of it, or it takes a long time. But as long as you can stay above it and keep a sound mind and a good heart about things, everything will work itself out.
So how did you kind of do that yourself in your career, where you look at your background, you're a 5-star recruit, all SEC, 1,100 yards at Ole Miss, you're a first-round pick, but here you are at 30, killing it on special teams. I think I looked at it, you're the only first-round receiver from the 2016 draft still playing in the NFL. And that shows a lot of grind and a lot of grit to, be willing to do it. How did you kind of learn to have that mentality that you now can dispense out to your teammates here?
Yeah, I think it all started with my upbringing. My mother, she's 6 kids, worked extremely hard every day. And I always kind of look at her as a role model, in a sense of whatever you believe you can do for your family or those next to you, you should do it. And so for me, you know, I have a family myself, and I always, you know, I just never believed that I couldn't play. Like, no matter what the situation was or, you know, what anybody said, I just knew once I got an opportunity, I was going to make plays. And that's just how I always was. You know, I love the game of football. I love being around my teammates. I love playing the game of football with my teammates. So when I'm not playing, I feel like I'm not fulfilling my kind of like my role in life, I guess, in this moment. My family is so supportive. You know, my wife is always like, you'll get them. Just wait. When you get your turn, you'll get it. And so her being in my corner, I mean, I can't even take all the credit. Like, my wife has literally helped me through so many highs and lows. Like I said earlier, like the highs and lows of my career, she's always had my back. And then, you know, we have my son, and now he's like all football. So it's like even more like re-encouraging, like hearing from him. And then, you know, being around the teammates, like I said, when I was low, you know, God's always saying, like, you know, keep your head up, bro. Like, we know what you can do. Like, your time will come. And so that's how I do it. You know, when I got the opportunity to play Chargers and Berlin, it was other guys like Coleman Owen, like working hard out there, practice, you know, getting his first opportunity in the NFL. Like, I try to give him nuggets to like keep him going and keep him focused and just different guys on the team, whatever that facet reveals, you know. I try my best to, like, you know, pour it out, because, you know, 10 years of experience, you know, you can never replace that. So the best thing I could do is give it to the younger guys, and hopefully they'll be in year 10 and giving it to the next guy.
So how did you switch your mindset from, you know, your first-round pick receiver who can, you know, you go from the Vikings to the Jaguars, you're playing a lot of offense.
Yeah.
How did you switch your mindset to committing to special teams? Because the last 3 years, you've got more snaps on special teams than you have on offense.
Just being grateful, gratitude with the opportunity to even be on the team, you know, to be in the NFL. Like you said, I'm the last guy in my class, and you know, everybody want to score touchdowns. Everybody do. I mean, it's not one guy on special team that doesn't want to get a sack, strip, fumble. But once you realize that it's still an opportunity there, you can live in gratitude about that and be grateful. You know, like I said, like, we got Amir Abdullah back there, year 10. He came in as a running back. You know, he's a top running back from college, played at high level. Like, if I can get him to the end zone, like that makes him, you know what I'm saying, gives him another year in the league. You know, you just if you live from gratitude on things, and I've learned this, is just like being grateful for the moments and the opportunity, and just being on the team, you know, being able to let your kids see you playing. You know, it's just a lot of things to be grateful for, and I've tried it. I try my best to choose to live from that, like, and not look at it like, man, I'm just on special team, but like, man, thank God I'm on special team. Thank God I got an opportunity to play on Sunday. Thank God I got a play, you know. And with that, I feel like if I can just seize those moments, you know, everything will work itself out.
You're talking about the influence your mom had, you know, and you growing up. I'm curious if having football taken away from you your sophomore year at Ole Miss, where for our listeners, our viewers, it was a broken tibia and dislocated ankle.
Yeah, broken fibula, dislocated ankle.
And that was in the middle of a really good season you were having too. How did that impact your journey?
Tremendously. I mean, for so long you playing at a high level, and you just think that's just how life is. You know, like, I play at a high level. I get rewarded, fans cheer. I got my goals, I'm setting them, I'm hitting them. And when the game gets taken away, it allowed me to reflect on other things in life, like as a human, not as a football player. And so it helped me shape and see life from a different perspective. You know, from 10 years old, I've been playing this game. I've been good. Didn't really have to work on, let's say, character or other things off the field. You know, on the field, it's easy. You're winning, people cheering, life is good. But I think that adversity allowed me to, like, reflect on who I was as a person, what I actually wanted to do off the field. You know, you don't think about those things until you get hurt. And so it allowed me to reflect, allowed me to see where I was going, see the steps I was taking, and ultimately it helped me be a better person.
Did that help you separate almost like what you do on the field from the rest of your life?
It did. Hindsight, you know, you don't want to think about it like that, but looking at it, it really did. It really allowed me to have a different perspective, a different appreciation of playing football. When you do it for so long, you just expect it to happen, and when you get hurt, allows you to reflect and be grateful for the opportunity you do get to play.
I think one of the coolest things about you is like most guys who are like on the practice squad, they don't get like a shout out from the general manager about how much they love this guy.
Yeah.
Like every time Reggie talks about you, it's I love Laquon. The way I've described you to people is you're their favorite Colts receiver's favorite receiver. Like the guys in that room have so much respect for you. How is there anything rewarding, fulfilling about that? Of like, when you hear something in the media, that's so positive about you, and you see it every day from your teammates and your coaches, like to realize that you're 30, you're making an impact, not just on the field, but within that group of guys.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly it is a blessing. I don't know why, like, which is crazy.
That's humble.
That's the crazy part. It's just I try to look at things from two perspectives, and I was told this when I went to Atlanta. Big shout out to Ricardo Allen. He was a guy who got cut on Hard Knocks one year in Atlanta, and he ended up being the captain and playing in that Super Bowl and starting safety. And he was just like, don't allow the business to separate how you treat your teammates. Because if you mix it, then it's like you'll have, I guess, mixed emotion towards your teammates when you should be going together and go play another team.
That lets jealousy creep in.
Yeah. So it allows like what they do and who's starting and whatever to now you affecting how you treat this guy based off because he's a starter. And it's not like he said he was a starter. The coaches decide that, right? Or the play or whatever it is. And so when he told me that was year 5. And then another guy, Julio Jones, was like, I don't allow my ego to dictate how the coaches coach me. And so him being in year 10 telling me this, he was like, and I'm only telling you this because I want you to get to year 10. And he had no reason to tell me. He just walked up and told me that. And so me sitting in year 10 and you saying that, it was just like those two kind of factored in how I approach my teammates and like my perspective moving forward throughout my career. And I guess is working in some way.
That was your first stop after Minnesota.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, getting cut by Minnesota had to be a pretty humbling experience.
I mean, because again, I didn't expect that. I didn't even know that can happen in the NFL. Coming in, just playing ball, being a young guy, trying to make my way through the league, trying to figure out, what I need to do better. Every year you going into the offseason trying to get better. And getting released by them my 3rd year, it was shocking to me because I'm like, how can I even get released? I work hard every day. I do everything I'm supposed to do. But again, this is results business, and I wasn't getting the results that was matching what I was drafted. And so that opened the door for like, okay, this is more than just working hard and just going about training and whatever the things I was thinking at that time. And so I get to Atlanta and I meet Julio and I meet Ricardo, and it's just pouring into me, and I'm just like, okay. And I'm still not knowing what it's going to amount to. And so looking back in year 10, it's just, I try to continue to like do that for other guys.
That's interesting because like, I think probably a lot of the things you can talk to guys about, your experiences, whatever little tips or nuggets you can give them.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the moment they'll realize how important it is, but like you said, like if they get to year 10, they might look back and say, like that was really impactful. That's really cool.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Yeah, man. I really believe it's a relationship business. Obviously you have to get the results, but the relationship's what keeps you on the play. And so that's why I'm always trying to like help the younger guys, like guys who in year 3, year 4, who's got these questions, like year 10, why are you still playing? And it'd be the relationships. It'd be, I love playing ball. I love making plays. So that's probably the biggest thing about it all.
What is the number one key to being a good special teamer in the NFL?
I think you just got to want to. Honestly, I think with the gratitude piece of it, like being grateful that, this is a play that can ultimately like make a difference. And then the want to, some guys want to and some guys don't. And some guys are just doing it to, get a good grade on it. And some guys are actually trying to go make a play and play to the level that they're on offense or defense they will play at. So
you, so in high school you had 8 sacks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I did.
So you've got some experience tackling. And when we were walking in here, you said you kicked off in the state championship game and had a tackle. What didn't you do in high school?
Yeah, I did everything.
You played basketball too, right?
Played basketball, yeah. Every position on the field in high school I probably played, except for like O-line. I played all the defensive positions.
have you had to like tap into any of that? You know, of like, because you go 10 years in the league playing receiver, you're not expected to tackle anyone, and all of a sudden you're out there, you know, playing gunner on kickoff return, and
it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. I try to tell the guys, like, Alabama offered me a DN, and they wouldn't believe me, but I'm like, I'm serious.
You, a 5-star receiver at DN?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And after that happened, I took it personal. No, I'm joking. But that was a Jordan phrase. But yeah. But no, they did. I was a 5-star receiver, and my sophomore year I had like 7 sacks. But they moved me to DN in like the last 7 games or something like that. I had like 7 sacks and like 5 forced fumbles. And here come Alabama, and I'm thinking I'm about to get an offer, and they offer me a DN, and I'm just like, bro, I play receiver. And so, yeah, that's just a funny story I always tell guys when they laugh when I make tackles, but
I mean,
it's cool.
Hold on a second. Nick Saban authorized offering you as a DN.
Yeah.
You don't usually see the wide receiver to DN transition.
Yeah. I was 6'2", so I guess they thought they would put some weight on me or something. I don't know.
What about giving out a hit in the NFL? What is that like for you to be able to do that?
Make a tackle?
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. I mean, I used to do it in high school, so it's like it's kind of like the same type of vibe. Like just going out trying to win a game. Like high school, if you're a good player, you're just trying to do anything to win the game. And so I just transitioned that to like, this is going to help win a game. We can get some tackles inside the 30, inside the 25. You know, Mace will love it. Team, the defense, Zaire, he's always coming up like, bro, you turn me up when you make a tackle, bro. And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing it. And so.
What want to get you out of here on this. You've been around. We kind of talked about it at the start. What about this franchise? You know, from kind of the top down with Carly to, you know, Chris to Shane, coaches, teammates. What about this franchise have you seen that has led to the success that this team has been having this year contending for the AFC South?
Man, just the consistency of character. Honestly, it's just they're good people. Honestly, there's no real secret to it. Like, great character, same message, same vision, honest. It's just, as an older player, like, that's all you can wish for. And as a younger player too, but when you're an older player, you understand, like, okay, other organizations, they're not like this. I mean, you might be winning, but it's not as connected and like family oriented and thoughtful and insightful and just different factors that other teams, you might win, you might have structure in the sense of foundation wise, but it's not that same connectivity. And so, that's probably it.
It's cool. Well, we're grateful to have you here.
I'm grateful to be here.
Appreciate you coming on the podcast, man.
Appreciate you.
All right, back here on the Colts Show. Thanks again to Laquon Treadwell for joining me here on the pod. Let's get into the Colts Show Mailbag presented by Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PC. Achieving greatness with real-time AI insights from the field to the front office. Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PCs are transforming how the Indianapolis Colts win. And a general question comes in from Tim Cook from Iowa. Tim asks, what are we going to do to get back to winning and make a major playoff push? I kind of wanted a broad question here because there's one thing that I've been thinking about after hearing Shane Steichen mention something along these lines on Sunday after the game. So, to me, the Colts' issues on offense over the last 2 weeks, where they scored 20 against Kansas City, you know, had 4 consecutive 3-and-outs to end that game, and then their issues against the Texans, only scoring 16, a season low, it starts on first down. And I've felt this way about this offense all year, that you can feel it. When the Colts get out there on offense and they get a first down on first down, or they get a gain of 7 or 8 on first down, you can feel this offense click into a rhythm, and that's how they became this kind of ruthlessly efficient group over the first half of the season. So let's look at this. From weeks 1 through 11, the Colts were second in the NFL in passing success rate on first down. They gained, and success rate on first down, if you're looking at 1st and 10, it's picking up 7 or more yards. If you're looking at 1st and 5, it's picking up, a couple yards getting into there. But for the most part, these are going to be 7+ yard gains on first down. The Colts got those on 51.1% of their first down dropbacks. That was second in the league behind only the Seattle Seahawks. And it felt like it, right? Like half of these dropbacks, the Colts are like moving. They're ahead of the chains, and they're able to get into a lot more of their offense. In weeks 12 and 13, the Colts' passing success rate on first down is 25%. That is 26th in the NFL over the last 2 weeks. Interestingly, this team has not been an efficient team running the ball on first down this season. From weeks 1 through 11, the Colts were getting a successful run on first down. 23.4% of the time, that's 18th in the NFL in that span, just below the league average of 23.6%. So basically, the Colts, in terms of efficiency, were about league average on first down. Now, in terms of explosiveness, they were number 1 in the NFL, running the ball on first down. So maybe it wasn't always picking up those yards that lead you to say that was an efficient play, but they were getting a ton of explosives. Just looking at success rate, though, in weeks 12 and 13, that has actually gone up when the Colts have run the ball on first down, 27.3%. So maybe there is something to be said for running the ball a little bit more. Here's the problem, is when the Colts did run the ball in weeks 1 through 11, even if they weren't necessarily getting yardage that led the play to be categorized as efficient, they only had 13 rushes that lost yardage in that span of 10 games. In the last 2 weeks, they've had 6 rushes that have lost yardage on first down. So that total of 13 in weeks 1 through 11, that was third lowest in the NFL. 6 in the last 2 weeks, that is second highest. So the point here is the Colts have struggled to get out of those difficult down and distances that you've seen them get in, second and long, third and long. And I'm wondering if the blitz rate that the Colts have seen is a function of those down and distances, maybe almost more than a function of teams saying, we're just going to go heat up Daniel Jones. Because on first down, the Colts are not facing a ton of blitzes. They're actually being blitzed less on first down in the last 2 weeks than they were in weeks 1 through 11. In weeks 1 through 11 on first down, the Colts are blitzed 35% of the time on their dropbacks. That was the 4th highest rate in the league. In the last 2 weeks, Daniel Jones has been blitzed on 25% of his first down dropbacks. That's 19th. So again, I think if the point of this is all to say, I don't think this is all doom and gloom for the Colts offense. They need to get back to doing what they were doing early in the season. And it's not like it's like one thing that's killing them. When I went in and I looked at it, I think, maybe in the back of my head, I was like, I don't feel like they've been blitzed a ton on first down, but let's just go see. I think if I had seen that blitz rate creep higher and higher than what it was even in weeks 1 through 11, on first down specifically, I would have been like, that's a little concerning. But since it's not been all that high, I think it comes down to execution. And it's a boring answer, but you got to avoid drops on first down. You got to avoid plays up front that maybe lead to a pressure. Although Daniel Jones is not like he's been pressured a ton on first down. The offensive line's done a pretty good job on first down. It's just like the execution feels just maybe a little bit off. It's not completely off on first down. This offense can get back to where they were to start the season. Maybe you're not talking about the historic highs of it, but they can get back to being an efficient offense on first down. It's just it's about execution, and it's not about necessarily a fatal flaw of this offense. The best case scenario here is the Colts over the last 2 weeks have run into 2 very good defenses in the Chiefs and then especially the Houston Texans, who that is the fastest defense I've seen play all year, the Houston Texans. They fly around in a way that is unlike any other defense in the NFL. And then, of course, they got Anderson and Hunter on the edges, who are fantastic. But it's about execution. And can you go execute now against the Jaguars, against the Seahawks, against the 49ers? Because if you get into 2nd and 2, yeah, I know against the Texans, the Colts had that 2nd and 2 run that lost 5 yards. That felt more like an aberration than like a fatal flaw there. If you get into 2nd and 2, or you get a first down on first down, this offense, they start humming, they start clicking. That's what the Colts got to get back to. They got to figure out ways to get back to it. So when you go down to Jacksonville on Sunday, keep an eye on 1st and 10 and what the Colts are doing. Because if you get into 2nd and long, that's where you can get heated up. If you get into 3rd and long, that's where you can get heated up. And that's what teams have been doing. But if you get into 2nd and 2, you're probably a little less likely to see that 6-man or 7-man cover zero pressure that the Colts have been seeing at a higher rate. I think they've been seeing it at a higher rate because they've been getting into these down and distances. That's sort of the gut feeling I had coming away from it. So the Colts got to figure out a way to execute, because look, at 8-4, they still control their destiny. They will continue to control that destiny with a win over Jacksonville on Sunday. That's what it's going to come down to. And for me, again, it's going to start on first down for this Colts offense. Good question there from Tim. You can submit your questions to the Colts Show Mailbag at colts.com/mailbag right here in the YouTube comments for this episode, or you can get at them at me on social media on X or Instagram. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Colts Show. Thanks again to Laquon Treadwell for joining me. We are presented by Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PC. Greatness in the NFL is built on preparation and quick decisions. That's why the Indianapolis Colts trust Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PCs, bringing real-time AI insights to the sideline so coaches and players can make smarter, faster decisions when it matters most. From the field to the front office, Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PC is transforming how the Indianapolis Colts win, where Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PC, where every day is game day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this episode of The Colts Show. We'll be back next week with another episode. Talk to you then. So long.